Hey, what's up guys? Do you ever wonder exactly how strong is steel? Because I do all the time. I'm designing stuff and of course I can make it out of like 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch plate, but would it work in 16 gauge, 20 gauge? You know, these are things I don't know. I'm not an engineer. I don't have SolidWorks to like destructively test stuff. I just have to do it the old fashioned way, build it, and then destructively test it in real life. The question today is, will this 16 gauge floppy piece of steel be able to support a 7,000 pound truck? But I got a job to make some car cribs for a guy here in town. He's got a couple classic cars. He takes them to car shows, wants to show off the undercarriage. So you have to build some stands basically to get the vehicle off the ground. Then they throw a mirror underneath so you can see the undercarriage. Kind of a cool little project. It's gonna go on some cool cars. I also wanna know how light I can make these because he's gonna be traveling from car show to car show, pulling them in and out of a trailer, and he doesn't want them to be really big and heavy and bulky. So I figured, let's play around. I'm pretty sure some 10 or 11 gauge would probably work just fine for this project, but I've been on a personal mission this year to improve my sheet metal skills and really learn about them in the first place. So in order to do that, sometimes I have to try stuff that won't necessarily work. Venturing into the great unknown is really one of my favorite parts of being a maker. It's this moment where I'm not sure if it's gonna work. And that's where it gets really exciting and really fun to try. So let's clear the decks here and see what happens. Okay guys, I worked up these parts in the Fusion 360 sheet metal module, so the K factor and bend radius is already figured out for me before I even start fabricating. I printed out a little cheat sheet to show where to lay out the bends, but I have to be careful to bend a left hand and a right hand piece, so that's why I have them laid out here opposite of each other. Otherwise, I'll end up with two halves that can't make a whole. You'll see here in a second. Bending sheet metal is a pretty powerful skill as a fabricator because every bend you make is a weld joint you don't have to fit up, tack, weld, and finish. There's also no chance for any of the welding problems you have like undercut, contamination, poor gash coverage, blow through, porosity, slag inclusions. You get it. Because bent joints don't require any welding. I mean, you'll see here in a second, you gotta weld next to them, but the bent part that's exposed, like outside corners that are always tricky, you don't have to do them anymore. They're always perfect if you bend it. On top of that, each bend actually stiffens the steel and makes it stronger. Like, what other materials get stronger when you bend them, guys? Wood? No. Plastic? No. Paper? Carbon fiber? Absolutely not. Think about it. Steel is straight up dark magic voodoo when you start comparing it to other materials. That's why this whole thing in 16 gauge just might work. Alright, I've got both halves bent up here, and now I need to fit this piece into the profile that the plasma cut. So I don't really have a roller like I need to, so instead I'm just going to find something roundish in the shop to get this thing started, and then finish it up with some clamps on the table. I want this for the fit up process because it has really nice square corners that I can use to help keep this entire thing square while I fit it up. In the top it's going to be open and a little, cattywampus. So I'm not even going to weld this thing out 100% either because the strength of this assembly, like we talked about, is not in the welds. It's actually in the bends. So theoretically, as long as I keep these bends aligned in the direction of the load applied, it'll hold. So I really just need enough weld to hold these plates together with each other. If this thing fails, it'll either crush the bend zone and the rest of the plate like a tin can, or the bottom will completely split open and the top will cave in from there. Anybody want to take a guess whether this will work or not? Right now, before you even skip ahead, hit thumbs up if you think it's going to hold, and hit thumbs down if you think there's no way this thing's going to crush like a pancake. All right? Go. Do it right now. You got it? Okay, me too. So let's go figure this thing out. Come on up easy. Uh-oh. Bigger than the forklift is. Our poor little forklift has a 3,000 pound maximum capacity, so the front end on this is out. It's just too heavy. So we're gonna try the back end now, and I'm pretty sure we can get the back end off the ground and onto one of these chocks. So we'll see if that works. All right, come on up, Dale. We're floating. Keep coming. Keep coming. Keep coming. Holy smokes. All right, come all the way out. Put a cinder block over here so that we have fairly level, so the weight is evenly distributed. We are totally off the forks. Move the fork still, show them that we're floating. Look at that, guys. 16 gauge steel is holding this F450 Maker Mobile. Can you believe it? I seriously did not see that one coming. I would have thumbs down it earlier. I didn't think this was gonna work. I thought 16 gauge was just not quite strong enough, and I was really hoping to get like a nice big boom, pow, flat as a pancake thing going on this video, but you know, it's not movie magic. This is just really what happens here at the shop. So anyways, 16 gauge can do a lot more than you think it can. The little brake we got used. It's only a couple $100 into that thing, and its top range is 16 gauge. So I have a whole lot of ideas now of more things that I can build with 16 gauge. Turns out you can actually really support a load with some light sheet metal. Just have to think about the design a little bit more than you would otherwise. Anyways, hope this helps you guys out, and happy making. Good luck in your own shops. Later.